Hey, I'm Jamie. I started PTSD Buddies, and I created a PTSD Buddy YouTube channel so people could share their stories about PTSD, and by sharing their stories, hopefully we can spread a bit of awareness. So I thought I would start with one of my own stories. Okay, this is a trigger story, so bear with me. In 2006, I was in Afghanistan. I was a driver with the military. As a driver, I drove a refueler. It carried 10,000 liters of diesel. And I was attached with the infantry. And the reason why I went with the infantry is so they could go further into Taliban countries. Their tanks wouldn't run out of fuel or anything because they had me with them. I was RPG'd in it, and I was given the name Fireball, but that's a different story. One night we were in a place called Camp Wilson. It's a FOB, which is a forward operating base. This Camp Wilson was there was a square, full square, and it was a large brick wall all around us, and we had fire points at each spot. Anyway, I was sitting in my truck. And I was actually on my satellite phone. They gave me a satellite phone because I was hardly on camp. And I was calling my girlfriend at the time, Vanessa. She's my wife now. And I was talking to her. And my truck was parked right alongside the wall. And as I'm talking to her, a rocket flies over my head. Now this, mind you, is probably 11, 12 o'clock, midnight. The rocket goes right over my truck, and it might have been 2 feet, 3 feet above my truck. And that's when it was called to a stand to, and the sirens went out. And Vanessa said, "What was that?" And I lied to her, and I told her, "Don't worry, babe. It's just the boys are watching a movie. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna watch the movie." And I hung up. As I hung up, another rocket just went over my truck, just barely missing my truck again. And I realized they were shooting at my truck. So, it's my training says to stay in the truck because it's up armored, but they were shooting rocket propelled grenades, RPGs at my truck, and I was carrying a lot of fuel. So I got out of the truck, I jumped out of the truck, and I landed towards the wall. And I remember when I jumped out of the truck, that's when the machine gun fire went all along the top of the wall, and I still remember the rocks landing in my shirt. And I sat there, and a third rocket went over my truck, and I honestly don't know if the rocket hit the truck or not. I would have died, but for that moment, I thought I was gonna die. I thought if a rocket hit that truck, I was gonna die. So, believe it or not, I still had that satellite phone. I called my mother on a satellite phone, and she knew it was me when I called, because every time I called, on caller ID it would say Hawaii. That's not the right desert. It was a different one. And she answered the phone. "Hi, Jamie, how are you doing?" And my dad picked up on the other line too, and they asked how I was doing, and I said, don't worry about how I am. How are you guys doing?" I said, "I just needed to hear your voice. How are you guys doing?" And Mom and Dad love to go to their cabin, and they said, Mom said Dad is at the cabin, and their Dad's been fishing, and the salmon are up there, and they wanted again to know how I was, and I said, I said, "It's good that I'm glad that you guys are doing good." And I said, "Mom, you tell everyone that I did my best over here, and you tell them that I love them." And I guess they knew something was wrong then, and I said, just tell everyone I love them, and I'll see them when I see them. And I hung up the phone. And when I hung up the phone, another rocket went over. 6 rockets were shot at my truck that night. And not one hit his target. We couldn't fire back because we couldn't identify a target. It was dark. And it's our rules that if we can't identify a target, we don't fire because we don't want to hit a civilian. So I sat there and watched 6 rockets go over my truck, and they all missed, and I'm here today. But I'm sure a piece of me died that night.